Sailing Broadcasting Corporation, hello and welcome to News Hour. I am Bakar Bangura. In the headlines, an accident along Boat Tama Highway leaves one person dead. The Regional Chairman Peace Building Commission visits President Ernest by Kuruma. Sierra Leone observes World Day Against Child Labor, and APC wins by-election in Ward 172 Putlako District. All the stories and more, including business and sports news, lined up here in this edition of News Hour. One person has died and 8 others injured in a motor vehicle accident along the Boat Tama Highway. Eyewitness reports say one of the tires ruptured, sending the vehicle out of control. A young child who was in the vehicle was unharmed. Well, here we now bring you highlight of the incident.
We just take time. We can somebody break in a road and say, this driver entire fire, so like the driver entire fire, so like it's time for mass.
So what did you driver?
You get no the driver. You get
Okay. Yeah, this one is going under. This one. But in the top. This one will be the under so.
Okay, money under.
That one?
That one? How much was in the ministry? I don't call you.
I mean that laptop time. I mean now recording. What did you have? What did you have? The key. Now you be there, that much away.
Yes, sir.
Who's on a big come? Who's on a big go?
This bag now, one of the
What actually happened?
Coming back.
Now you bag?
Yes, sir.
How the accident happened?
Where would they come in? I don't know, really. I just seen them all the motor they say now something me to go make no more. So I just seen them all the ever they fed the motor car they go enter it can't turn over with all the turn over that turn over from here. Said I'm gonna say
Oh, no, you go say.
I wish I no more when they see me. This gear.
But you know, we remember we started to take this girl, eh?
Now we all come inside Pujon, we all four. We now passenger apprentice one.
Who's Pujon? You sabi the girl?
Well, that was an accident along the Botama Highway. The Regional Chairman Peace Building Commission, Machaya Kamwa, an ambassador and permanent representative of Kenya to the United Nations, has commended President Ernest Bai Koroma for the peace that is prevailing in the country under his leadership and for the appointment of women ministers in his government, which he said is now the norm of the world. Mr. Kamwa made the commendation when he paid a courtesy call on President Ernest Bai Koroma at State House. Razia Bashkamara sent in this report for NewsHour.
Sierra Leone continues to enjoy and which the government of this republic can claim great credit for under your leadership is something that we know is recognized. The Security Council in 2014, as you know, already made the decision to draw down the engagement of the Peace Building Commission here in Sierra Leone. But before that, had already drawn down the engagement of the peacekeeping mission and then the political mission. And it's been steady progress all the way. The second thing, sir, that has arisen and that has changed the character of our engagement is that out of these resolutions was also the issue of the primacy of politics. That somehow we must always keep the political debate, the political negotiation at the center of the resolution of all crises. That it cannot be that we leave the negotiation table and resort to any other kinds of non-political resolutions to crises that arise in our countries, because the world cannot simply bear this anymore. So the primacy of politics has become something that we consider to be very important, and that will be supported even by the Peace Building Commission. And thirdly, is the recognition that youth, young people, and women need special attention in the world. If we are to build peace, if we are to secure the peace, if we are to sustain the peace, youth and women are going to have to get an incredible amount of support, because young people, as you know, get caught up very much in the crises of our modern day politics. They get manipulated by criminal elements, by political elements, and by commercial elements, to the detriment of society. And it's usually because the youth are not gainfully employed. So this is something that we've come to recognize. And the last point is that we have come to realize that women, and again, we were just speaking a little earlier, that you in your own wisdom have recognized this, because you've, in your recent reshuffle, you have increased the number of women in your cabinet, and we want to congratulate you and recognize you for this. But this should be the norm now in the world, not the exception. That the leadership you're showing in this vein should be something that should be the norm. And we and the international community is saying that women need to be given the protection they deserve, not just because they are the victims of many of these crises, political and otherwise, but because they have been left out of governance.
Your country, Sierra Leone, is also often held, as Ambassador Kamal said, as a success story for UN peace building. But we know that the real credit for the progress that your country has made is due to your leadership, the leadership of your government, and of course to the Sierra Leonean themselves.
Let me also thank you for the support that we have received from the BBC. We have since continued, and believe that on to 2014, we believe that we are focused on doing the right things. Our economy was growing, and we have seen growth in the efforts of developing our youths, empowering the women when Ebola struck. But again, with your collaboration and support and the resilience of our people, we are now out of it, and our focus is to continue with the journey that we have started, to get back to re-engaging with the agenda for prosperity. But of course, Ebola had its difficult challenges that it has posed. And for us, it was not only Ebola, we also had the drop in the prices of metals that affected our economy as well. So we had these twin difficulties of Ebola and the drop that completely devastated the economy. And it's, even when we are through with Ebola now, we still have the problems, the challenges lingering on. And but notwithstanding those challenges, the problems that we have, again, with your support, you've been able to galvanize the international community. We have had a few meetings, the UN meeting being the highest point in which support was provided by the international community. And I'm happy that whilst we are realizing the support from it, we still welcome your decision to continue to canvass the translation of people's or donors' commitments to real action, because that is what is required. Moving forward, we have had the immediate post-Ebola recovery program, the 6 to 9 months program that we have completed.
Meanwhile, the team from the United Nations Peace Building Commission, as part of its visit to Sierra Leone, also met with the Minister of State to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Aissata Kabia. Hawanatu Conte has a story.
The visit is to assess the intervention strategy with the view of supporting the ongoing post-Ebola recovery plan and long-term peace-building priorities from a national and regional perspective. The team will also highlight national and regional recovery efforts, focusing on political and socio-economic priorities of Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Liberia. The delegation will discuss and identify opportunities with relevant authorities for further constructive engagement of the Peace Building Commission and the international community. Chair of the Organizational Committee of the Peace Building Commission and Head of Delegation, Makaraya Kamau, congratulated Sierra Leone for its development strides. He outlined plans of the Commission to sustain peace in Sierra Leone and the contribution to the post-Ebola recovery process.
We are in awe of the amazing response that this country undertook in responding to this horrific epidemic. emergency that those of us who are involved in New York in the consultations at the beginning of this epidemic saw projections that were terrifying. When we were told that hundreds of thousands of Sierra Leoneans would be laid waste. I remember my brother and I remember my words, I said, these two we shall overcome. You remember?
Minister of State 2, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Honorable Aissata Kabia, emphasized the need for continuous assistance.
As much as the world came together to defeat Ebola, the world must continue to work together to sustain that wave. We are absolutely grateful to the UN family and all UN bodies on the ground for the work they did in bringing together funding to beat the fight. As a country, we were already facing challenges before Ebola struck. Those challenges, I believe, were simply highlighted by the health emergency.
Chair of the Sierra Leone Peace Building Country-Specific Configuration, Marc-André Blanchard, said Sierra Leone is a success story of the UN peace-building process. He said the country has potentials. The visit will bring to the fore peace-building opportunities and challenges in West Africa on the road to recovery after the Ebola outbreak. Awana Tukonte reporting for SLBC TV News.
The National Electoral Commission (NEC) has declared Bakar of the All People's Congress as the elected councillor for Ward 172 Constituency 050 in the just concluded by-election in the Putloko district. 51 polling stations in 11 centers were entered into the results database, representing 100% of all polling stations in the ward. Ibrahim Samura has a story.
According to the Acting Chief Electoral Commissioner and Returning Officer, Augusta Bakar, Bakar of the All People's Congress obtained the highest votes, defeating Almami Kanu of the Sierra Leone People's Party and Ibn Karim Toure of the Alliance Democratic Party.
The results are as follows. Candidates: Kamara Bakar, Political Party APC. Votes obtained 2,838 votes with a percentage of 68.4. Kanu Almami SLPP 797 votes obtained with a percentage of 19.2%. Toure Ibrahim Karim ADP votes 515 with a percentage of 12.4%. Now, therefore, in exercise of the powers conferred on the National Returning Officer by Section 94, subsection 4 of the Public Elections Act 2012, Act number 4 of the 2012, I hereby, on behalf of the National Returning Officer, declare Kamara Bakar of the All People's Congress APC, who, having pulled the highest number of valid vote cast, duly elected councillor for Ward 172 and the Putloko District Council.
The Acting Chief Electoral Commissioner described the polling as peaceful, saying that the voter turnout was 4,391 out of a voter register of over 15,000. The turnout was 28.5%, which indicates low turnout. The vacancy occurred following the death of Councillor Papa Kamara of the All People's Congress in March this year. The regional coordinator north of the Sierra Leone Police, Chief Superintendent Gibson, told SLBC that they provided adequate security, saying that the police will continue to monitor the situation in the districts. Mohammed Kamarimban Mansari of the Alliance Democratic Party was accused of influencing the election by giving money to voters. This he denied.
From that, sir. Absolutely not true. It's unfounded. It's completely false. In fact, as you can see, this is our office in Lonsar, and I've been here with my security. The LUC gave me 2 armed security because the youth chairman of the APC constituency 50 attacked my car and vandalized my car this morning. So I went to the LUC and make a complaint, and he gave me 2 security. And I've been in my office since, and there's no way, absolutely no way, that I've influenced anyone financially from my office to vote. It doesn't even make sense. You know, one of the things that it looked like APC is going down like a drowning man, and whatever you can hold, you can accuse. I'm just a poor, patriotic person want to make a difference in this country. I'm not even a ruling government.
51 polling station results from 11 polling centers were entered into the result database, representing 100 of all polling stations in the world. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown.
That was Ibrahim Samura reporting. The Open Government Initiative has organized an Open Government Partnership OGP meeting to review the partnership's first National Action Plan. The forum, which took place at State House, is also in preparation of the implementation of the second National Action Plan. Nasiruddin Kuruma filed in this report for NewsHour.
Committee meeting comprised representatives from line ministries, departments and agencies and the civil society. Addressing participants, the head of Civil Service and Secretary to Cabinet, Dr. Anesuro, had this to say.
And collective responsibility means leaders have to be open. MDs have to be open in the implementation of programs that are meant for the people. The people are out there, they are waiting for the services. And we have to ensure that they participate in the decision making as well as in the implementation, monitoring and evaluation. The President is our light in this respect, development in openness and transparency and accountability. And he expects all of us as MDs or civil society to be open in our dealings with each other. And I am sure if we continue in this trend, this country will ever remain peaceful and will never think about another war. If we look at the history of our war, what has caused it? The reasons are many. But most of it comes from lack of openness by government. Civil society or the people out there do not know how government operates. They do not know what happened to their resources. They do not know what happened to their plans and their programs. They only see things happen. Whether they are happy or they are not happy is another matter. But now government is trying to be more open.
The Open Government Partnership is a multilateral initiative that aims at securing concrete commitments from governments to promote transparency, empower citizens, fight corruption, and harness new technologies to strengthen governance. In the spirit of multi-stakeholder collaboration, OGP is overseen by a steering committee including representatives of governments and civil society organizations. OGP was launched in 2011 to provide an international platform for domestic reforms committed to making the government more open, accountable and responsive to citizens. Since then, OGP has grown from 8 countries to 69 participating countries. In all OGP countries, governments and civil societies are to work together to develop and implement ambitious open government reforms. Participants discussed the National Action Plan with emphasis on challenging milestones. Here is the director of OGI, Khadija Sise.
It's really, we are moving forward. We have 30 days to present the National Action Plan, a project that was supposed to be done about 6 months ago, because in other countries they start the project of writing an action plan for like at least 6 months. And now we are about to start the process. We started it actually with the sensitization that we just concluded about 2 weeks ago. So within 6 to 8 weeks, we are going to conclude the action plan. But again, I can say where there is the will, there is a way, and which is present here today. You've seen that. I mean, it was present today, this morning, at the meeting when everybody was busy trying to bring together what is needed to move forward.
OGP participating countries co-create a national action plan with civil society. Action plans should cover a 2-year period and consist of a set of commitments that advance transparency, accountability, participation, or technological innovation. This means every country implements a national action plan at all times. Although individual commitments still vary in length, in order to achieve this, countries will draft their new action plans during the last 6 months of implementation of the previous plan. All national action plans should cover a period of implementation of a minimum of 18 months, although individual commitment may vary in length. The review prepares the OGP Steering Committee for the wrap-up of the first National Action Plan, while it commences the implementation of the new one.
The National Commission for Children, in collaboration with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, has engaged communities on the dangers of child labour. The Commission targeted residents from stone mining and deprived communities as part of their activities to mark World Day Against Child Labour. Princess Gibson was at the engagement held at the back of Old School Hill Station. She now reports.
World Day Against Child Labour is set aside by the United Nations to call attention on the dangers of child labour, a practice that is given less attention in Sierra Leone but poses serious threats to the development of a child. This engagement by the National Commission for Children targeting stone mining communities is part of efforts to raise awareness on its effects on children. Even though children are expected to work for parents, they should not be given jobs that affect their growth, health and ability to benefit from school.
If we not the same pikin for work, whenever day when you want drink water, you know we call the pikin for hand water. But what we dey try for say, the work where they do, you know, for affect their health, that's their body business. Enough for affect the development, enough for affect the school business, and enough for affect the ability for benefits from school.
The home, she said, is expected to control and regulate their children. For the Hilltop South Ridge, Sunshine and Bangura communities, stone mining is a concern, according to Councillor Samuel Kagbo.
If you watch this area, people depend on stone breaking. The swamp side there, there are more of plants, and people in the plants are close to it. And the Pekin and the water garden. Some of the Pekin, most of them depend on stone breaking. The people depend on stone breaking. So the people back, the Pekin ancestors said they join their own parents for good books.
Sire Kalon, a class 6 pupil, dropped from school and engaged in stone breaking, but has returned to school with the intervention of the National Commission for Children.
Representative to really begin them, and they want me paying them and they help me for the school business and the elders that really today. Me and my mom begin a really broke stone. So they have for tell me paying them say, madam will help me for the school business, man not go to broke stone again.
At the end of the engagement, it was clear that a major factor for the involvement of children in stone mining is to raise funds to cater for the home. These are, according to a board member of the National Commission for Children, is unacceptable. Stakeholders pledged their support and commitment to minimize child labor in their communities. Princess Gibson, SLBC News.
The West African College of Physicians has held its annual general conference in Freetown. The conference focused on disaster preparedness for national medical emergencies. Nasiruddin Kuruma filed in this report for NewsHour.
As the Conference of Professionals in Healthcare, physician specialists and consultants, presentations done were focused on preparing the country's health sector to not only address the current health challenges, but to be able to timely and adequately address epidemics or other issues of public health emergencies. The Vice President of the West African College of Physicians, Dr. Radcliffe Lisk, who doubles as the head of the Sierra Leone chapter of the college, reminded the experts of the need to give meaning to the inspiration of the sub-regional college. This is part of his address.
This year we are looking forward, post-Ebola, to put in place the very facilities that were so woefully missing at the start of the epidemic. How are we doing? I think we can look at this under 3 headings: the physical structures, the management and governance of these structures. We want more members, we want more fellows, we want the accreditation to train internists in country, we want more graduates to consider training in Sierra Leone, and we want the Ministry of Health to formulate policies that will encourage them to do so.
Dr. Martha Lado took participants through the chronology of the country's recent Ebola scourge, which exposed the weakness of the health sector. Dr. Lado, in her presentation, was able to highlight precautionary measures that were ignored, which led to the explosion of the virus right across the country. She established also that indeed there has been progress made in the area of infection prevention mechanism.
This was the design, just trying to divide the rooms, saying one first room for wet cases, then some for children, some for contacts like probable cases, and we had to start organizing and defining everything. But as I said before, there were no guidelines, so we were learning with mistakes again and again. This is the unit that we all felt really proud of in Congress at that time. Now you look at it, and it's like, oh my God, that was completely terrible, but that's the only thing that we could work with, yeah? So all the beds were separated, because many of you probably have seen the isolation unit of Congress from outside, but very few people have been able to go inside the patients. So this is the way that our patients were isolated.
The West African College of Physicians is a professional organization established in 1976. It is an organization of professional specialists in postgraduate training in West Africa and the accreditation of training institutions for conducting postgraduate trainings. The College of Physicians advises governments of West Africa on relevant aspects of health and healthcare.
Well, this is News on Live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Up next is the business news.
Hello and welcome to the business updates. Coming up, the foreign exchange rates. The US dollar buys at 6,003 leones, and sells at 6,124 leones. Pound sterling buys at 8,673 leones, and sells at 8,850 leones. Euro buys at 6,816 leones, and sells at 6,953 leones. That's the foreign exchange rate, courtesy of the United Bank for Africa, UBA. As dollar hike hits food commodity prices, traders at Kuta Road Market have blamed wholesalers for the price hike. This disclosure was made to a reporter during Dumbuya as she visited Kuta Road Market. Here's the report.
At Cruton Road Market, the traders complain the dollar hike as the main factor responsible for the increase in prices.
This 150 for now. The vegetable, the tomatoes, will be about 150. Today, they say 250. Even carrots, will be about 200, 150. Today, they say 300. Everything. Yeah, market so they say. When we get chop and see the dollar. And actually, you don't buy dollar at 660. or 650. Where you go? Nigeria must be watching your 680.
Even traders who sell leaf vegetables are complaining that they have low sale of commodities.
Yes. Everything don't go. If we been me na cassava leaf and sell. Just because of the Ghana don't do, I don't go 254. And they say na dollar, so the cassava leaf sell the money they works in a me.
This, they say, has had a negative effect on their livelihood.
But now, 1,000 don't go down safe in money. Okay, don't go put 150,000, don't go down so we can check and need a commodity.
Others attribute the price hike to the selfishness of the wholesalers, who are claiming that the increase in prices of goods largely depend on the dollar rates, while they have some goods that has been in their stores before the dollar hike.
Well, the business really stiff. The business stronger, the things that don't go up rapidly, especially the rice, the sugar, the abas, oil, everything go up rapidly. And then not wait because now then they say at the dollar, because now then they put, then they emphasize on any side where you go. But see they buy today, tomorrow where you go on a different price. Do ya with a beg and with a beg the government, let go inside and shop. Then there's something and then we don't get them from last year. They're not even order for them. Then they put price for them. So all on then the shop, the one that where they sell. Now the shop, then they make the country they tranga more and more.
Meanwhile, the prices of other commodities like Maggi, salt, onion, and the like are stable.
That report was read by Lucian Ganda. The proprietor of J&F Investment Silo Limited, John Cisse, in collaboration with Total Silo Limited, has commissioned a filling station at the Post-Local Road, Kafugulong Chiefdom in Nunge. According to the proprietor, the establishment of the Total filling station will help alleviate fuel shortage in Kafugulong and Lokomasama Chiefdoms. This filling station will serve lubricants users in Lunge and its immediate environs. Even though there are other filling stations, community members appeared to be appreciative for the establishment of Total filling station. Commercial bike riders, drivers and community members say they have suffered for decades on the perpetual fuel shortage caused by hoarding. They say with the availability of fuel, it will provide interlinkage for fishermen, drivers and bike riders.
We the drivers them, you gather them, the fishermen them, and we suffer too much. When fuel done, the lorry then go increase the price. Because when you go for free sale for bike, they say fuel, you go back to liter 8,000 or 10,000. Then when you go and see for go buy fish, they say fuel don't do. This fish was said yesterday 2,000, today 5,000. So gladly tell the bank, but who will take it?
According to the proprietor John Cisse, the J&F Investment Silo Limited is a private and family-owned company registered to undertake series of business ventures, including the management and operations of filling stations and a shopping complex. He adds that his company collaborated with Total Silo Limited because of its records in upgrading safety standards, product quality and service delivery. Mr. Cisse says despite he is competing with other fuel stations, he is determined to alleviate the suffering of people on the perpetual fuel crisis in the Kafugulong Chiefdom.
Indeed, there are few filling stations, but over the years, most of them lost their credibility to operate as proper filling stations. The basic thing is that most of them do not even run the stations as they ought to. And because of that, the moment they receive fuel, within a few hours, they say fuel is finished and they close the pumps at the station.
It says 48,000 liters are available to start the business and more will soon be supplied. He adds that the filling station will be operating from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. each day. He says the development is a testimony of what private individuals can achieve towards the realization of President Goma's agenda for economic development. The proprietor expresses thanks to Tuto Cielo Limited and other business houses for their support towards the success of the project. Network manager Tuto Cielo Limited, Ishmael Conte, says Tuto is a multinational.
That was the business news with Judith Sana. Up next is the sports stories with our sports producer, Unisadin Kabu.
Thank you. From the Euro 2016 in France, Italy just registered a 2-0 victory over a very impressive Belgian side. Belgium controlled the greater part of the second half, but could not find the magic to celebrate. Following the disruption of the match yesterday between Susan's Bay and Mountain City, which was led to the invasion of the pitch after fans thought it was too much and could not, allow a penalty to be taken, which was awarded by the referee. A journalist who was at the scene, Ibrahim Bar, commonly known as Inspector Bar, gave an account when he was encountered and interviewed by Frances Bernard here in our SLBC studios.
Came in very prepared, very determined. His stake was he plays in the grand finale, of course, Fulham have already qualified, so both teams came in high spirits. We saw very good football until that point when the penalty was awarded by the referee. Apparently, some fans of Susan's Bay believed that it shouldn't have been a penalty, but then the referee was quite certain that it was a penalty. Unfortunately, the players in the pitch actually were there, even though protesting. The match could have gone on, but then the fans out there, for some reason, they got out of control, and then, like you rightly said, they just interrupted the match, abruptly invaded the pitch, and that was how the match ended. Very, very unfortunate, because Sierra Leoneans have been looking up to the Kofa at the parade ground there for football in the country. Okay,
Inspector Ba, as you're speaking, just look at the screen and then you will see this whole controversy, the ball that actually led to the penalty. As you can see, the challenge between this player from FC Yuanxin, is he Soja also, as he is commonly known, and look at the ball. Just take a look at it, and after which we'll continue to talk about it. That's the penalty. That was how the penalty was awarded. According to some fans we spoke to, Susan's Bay fans, they said there was a handball. According to them, there was a handball before that penalty was awarded, and according to them, they were expecting the referee to actually have actually whistled against that ball before taking the match itself, the play which led to the penalty.
Yes, you are quite right. That's the point that most of the fans of Susan's Bay are making. They believe that actually there was a handball before we got to the penalty. That is very, very difficult to see. Yes. So some people quite believe that, but then they are not content with the fact that the ball was a penalty. The defender did crash into the young man. Definitely the referee felt that it was so clear. He did not even hesitate. He was not even looking at the referee as he stands. He decided there and there it was a penalty. I think the point that Susan's Bay fans are making, their technical people, is that there was a handball before that.
They are saying that most of the referees are staying in the Mountain City community, and because of that, they are always things are always going the Mountain City way.
Well, that's an allegation, definitely. They may have some referees coming from Mountain City, but to say they are influencing things.
Well, we'll still continue to follow the situation. The administrators at the Central One Football Association have not said anything as of now. What still awaits the final decision? That's it from the Sports Tax Regulators.
Well, that was Unisadin Kagbo with the latest sports stories. To end news are the main points again. An accident along the Botama Highway has left one person dead and several others injured. The Regional Chairman Peace Building Commission has visited President Ernest by Kuruma at State House. Sierra Leone has observed World Day Against Child Labor, and the APC has won by-election in Ward 172 Putloko districts. That's all in this edition of News are broadcast live on the SLBC. On behalf of the news editor Asmi Ba and the rest of the team, I am Bakar, Bangura in Freetown. Up next is Issues in the News. Stay with us. This is the SLBC. Good night.